Hi there. Welcome again to Thought for the Week. My goodness, how time races by, doesn't it? Well, never mind. We're encouraged to live every moment to the full, aren't we? And that's how it should be for disciples of Jesus. Every moment we're saying, Lord, what do you want me to do now? What do you want me to say now? Where do you want me to go now? Wonderful. Adventure every minute. Well, looking at the Acts of Apostles, we're confronted with this enormous compendium of adventures, because that's what they are, adventures of faith. None more wonderful than the one we're contemplating here in Acts chapter 12, concerning Peter in prison. Acts chapter 12. Herod Agrippa I was an anti-Semite. And we know that with anti-Semitism, terrible hatred lies at the heart of it. And Herod Agrippa I hated the Jews, although the Romans had appointed him as so-called king of the Jews. He hated them with a perfect loathing. But he also wanted to suck up to them, because he knew that if he could curry favor with the Jews, they would very much act as quislings for him, and that would help him in his ruling Judea, the whole area that we now know as Israel, Judea and Galilee. And so he was at one and the same time an anti-Semite, but someone who was always sucking up to the Jewish people. And this, of course, made him oppose the Christian faith. Not only was it a faith that was despised by Rome, it was a faith that was hated by the traditional Orthodox Jewish people, who believed that Jesus Christ was the arch blasphemer, and that any followers of Jesus must therefore also be considered blasphemers. So Christians were in big trouble. And we see it reflected here in this episode where Peter has been arrested and put into prison. And after arresting him, says Acts 12, verse 4, Herod Agrippa put him in prison, handing him over to be guarded by 4 squads of 4 soldiers each. Herod intended to bring Peter out for public trial after the Passover. So Peter was kept in prison, but the church was earnestly praying to God for him. And we've seen before, have we not, how wonderful it is that God answers our prayers. Praise the Lord. Here was a hopeless and terrifying situation. And as far as Peter and his friends were concerned, there was clearly no way out. Come on. He was in a jail. He was chained to soldiers. No chance of getting out. No way at all. But hopelessness in the prison was matched by hopefulness in the prayer room. Well, it should have been so, shouldn't it? But the fact is, if you look at chapter 12, verse 15, you see that there was a curious mismatch. What appeared to be a local church full of faith as they prayed was also a local church filled with hesitation and doubt. Because verse 15 says, when Peter was at the door and the young servant girl came and told the people in the house, Peter's at the door, what was their response in answer to their prayers? You're out of your mind. It must be his angel. I find that so heartening, don't you? That these Christians in Jerusalem at the time of Peter were ambivalent. Yes, they were praying earnestly for him. But when news came that he was actually free and was at the door, they just simply couldn't accept it. Now, I have to confess to you that it's a bit like that for me sometimes. It's really like that. Yes, I can have tremendous faith. I can pray about situations in a very earnest fashion. But lurking in the back of my mind Is that thought, which I expect has been planted there by Satan, well, it's not really going to be like that, is it? It's not going to be like that. No. That mismatch is something I have to fight. It's a real part of the spiritual warfare in which I'm engaged. And I guess you are too. We have to be rock solid in our confidence in Jesus. And that when we make our petitions to him, he really does hear them. Let that encourage you. The Lord bless you for now. Bye-bye.